In this video, we're going to talk about the different ways and why you should manage your online reputation. Now that your business is online, and hopefully if you're watching this video, it is, the whole world is listening. At least you hope that they are. And that gives you two possible outcomes. One is people could love what you're doing, either yourself or your business, and then share those things online with others. Or people could find fault with some way, shape, or form of what you or your business is doing, and of course, share those things with others. So does that seem like a terrifying prospect? They could say yes, they could say no, they can publicly vote you up, or they could slam you down. If it does, it doesn't have to. And there are some things that you can do. So let's talk about some of those things. There are some skills that you're going to have to develop if you don't have them already. One is making sure that you're monitoring online conversations that are happening, and we'll show you some ways to do that. You're going to want to make sure that you're engaging your customers and those audiences, because especially if there's negative feedback, actually it really doesn't matter, positive or negative. If you're not responding back to them, then negative festers and it just gets worse because people feel ignored. And positive, you don't get all the juice that you could get from it, because when you reward somebody for leaving a positive feedback, that can make them feel really good, and they might even share more positive things about you. And of course, as we already discussed, this fourth bullet point, managing for both positive and negative customer feedback. You want to make sure you're taking care of both types. Now, when you build that reputation that customers can trust, it's actually going to help you to achieve the potential to grow your business even faster. But of course, it's going to take a little bit of work. So let's get into what you can do. First, very first thing, claim vanity URLs. And I know that there are many of you out there who aren't quite sure what that is. Basically, all that is where the URL, so if you go to facebook.com and you go to somebody's page and you see something that looks kind of funky. So we made an example. This isn't a real link, but this example of, facebook.com/profile/view ID equals whatever, right? And you've got all this different stuff that's on the end there. That's not a very easy to remember thing. It's not a very attractive looking thing, and it doesn't help reinforce the brand. It kind of shows that they're anonymous. But what you could do is, for example, what we did with our Facebook page. So if you go to facebook.com/seriously simple marketing, you're going to go directly to our own Facebook page. And that's what they call a vanity URL. So it doesn't have all the extra stuff that's there. You don't have to worry about all that crap. You just type in /seriously simple marketing, and it takes you right to it. That's what a vanity URL is. And you can get those for Google+, for LinkedIn, for Facebook. Each of those different social networks out there has something that is like that. You might just have to Google to find out specifically how to sign up for it for your particular service. But again, just about everybody has something like that. And you'll also, of course, if you don't have it already, make sure you get your URL, because if you don't have your URL with your brand name in it, if you're using like a Tumblr or a WordPress.com, if you're using so it's yourbrandname.wordpress.com, you're going to want to take that out. You really want to get your own URL and make sure that you claim your name. Next, you're going to want to tune in. You need to start listening to what people are saying about you on the internet. Now, a Google search is the fastest way to do that. Just go in, type in your name, your brand name, your website name, your company name, and you can find out what people are saying about you, good and bad. But Google alerts are better, because if you have to do a Google search every time, that can kind of get tiresome and you got to remember to do it. You can actually set something called a Google alert, and Google will automatically send you an email and say, hey, here's what happened on the web, and here are the things that we thought you should be aware of based upon what you typed in. So let me show you that real quick here. So in our friend Google, we're just going to go to type in Google Alerts. It's pretty easy to get to. It's just right there, google.com/alerts. And here's all you need to do. You type in the search. You type in what you want it to come from, which section of Google, everything or nothing at all, how often you want them to alert you, and then what email to send the alert to. So that's pretty much it. So again, pretty simple on how to use this. Typing in the query, if you happen to sell, let's say you're with Girl Scouts, and you want to know if people are talking about Girl Scout cookies. You can go, spelled right, there you go, Girl Scout cookies. So then you can see here's what would come through. There's the Google Alerts for today. You would have been sent these alerts, and people, again, when they put stuff on the web, Google's scouring it. Google will find it. It'll notify you. It'll send you an email that looks like this so you can see what the latest stories are. So really useful tool, Google Alerts. And of course, there's other things like this that you need to monitor based upon your situation. So if you're a restaurant or a coffee shop, you might want to be checking out Yelp just to make sure that you've got some what the feedback is there and that you're managing that. Maybe Yahoo Local or TripAdvisor if you've got a hotel, something along those lines. So again, there's different sites out there. Just find the one that relates to you and make sure that you're reviewing those. Now, when it comes to your responses, you want to make sure that you think about your response before you send it out, especially if it's a negative review that you're replying to, because we can get emotional over that, right? I mean, this is our business. It's like our baby. And so when somebody calls your baby ugly, you can get defensive, right? Especially if you think it wasn't your fault. Now, if it was something that was your fault, it's a little easier to respond to those. But if it wasn't your fault and somebody was just being negative, because let's face it, sometimes there are what they call trolls, and those people are out there and they just want to get a rise out of you. They want to just complain because they like complaining. And so they'll put these responses out there. Maybe they were just having a bad day for some other reason, but you get the brunt of it. If you respond emotionally, that will last forever. And it's in a public arena. You are always on stage. This is not a conversation between you and somebody else. It's a conversation between you and somebody else in front of the world. And everyone's seeing how you respond to this. And 9 times out of 10, it's not that the negative comment really matters that much as it matters how you respond. That's what people are looking at. How do you handle that? So you want to obviously think about your response and how it's going to be taken. Obviously reply to as many reviews as you can, because the more times you reply, the more times you're reviewing. It shows that you're active and that you're engaged with your customers. Thank people. Again, we talked about this earlier in the video, but thank people who give you positive reviews, because that encourages them and others to leave reviews. And for negative reviews, you really have 2 options. One is, if it's your fault, admit it. Say there was a mistake made and you put situations in place to correct it, offer them a discount or a free stay at the hotel or whatever it is that would make sense to you, and private message that particular person through their email, assuming that you have it, and make sure that you make amends, because you want to take care, especially if it's your fault. You learn from it. Everybody makes mistakes. We do as well. You learn from it and you move on and you make yourself stronger from it. And ideally, those negative responses, those people who are giving you negative reviews, but it really was your fault, they're helping you to become stronger and improve your systems. So that's a good thing. And again, we talked about the trolls. Those are the other options. Those are the people who are just negative for being negative. Those people you politely acknowledge. And again, in your response, this is why it says here, negative reviews aren't always a bad thing, because people don't expect. And think about this. If you go to a hotel and it's 5 stars out of 5 stars, and every single review that's written is raving about how incredible this hotel is, or worse, let's say you go to Amazon, and this is where you can see it a lot. You go to Amazon for a particular ebook and you see all these responses talking about how incredible this ebook was that some marketer put out. Well, if there's 10 reviews there, right, and they're all 5 out of 5, chances are it's just pretty much the person's friends who went there. And that's what you're going to think. You're going to be skeptical. But if it was a 3.5 or a 4.5 stars, and you look at it and there was some really great reviews that people loved it, and there was 1 or 2 that just weren't all that great, but they were thought out responses. They were, negative, but the person replied and they had a conversation between the two. I mean, I've seen this happen, go wrong in so many ways, where somebody just gets horribly emotional and starts yelling at the person and you can see these things in Yelp if you just take a look at them, where people are just yelling at each other, and it's degrading to everybody, and it doesn't make the business person look professional, right? So you even if you were thinking about going there, you kind of go, you know what? I don't really think I like that person, so I don't want to support their business. But I've also seen it on the opposite end, where somebody says, hey, listen, these are what we did. This is what we, you understood you were getting, a suite, not the penthouse. And we offered you a suite. We tried to give you an upgrade. We gave you the champagne basket because we understood that you weren't happy with the room. We moved you to another room, which gave you a beachfront view instead of the mountain view. We tried to do all of these different things and nothing worked. We are not sure what else we can do, but we definitely appreciate your comments, and that sort of thing, where it doesn't acknowledge that you did anything wrong. If anything, it shows, hey, listen, this person probably was more wrong than you are. And if I'm a prospective individual who's looking at a hotel room and I see that sort of response, I'm like, wow, this they really do, for reasonable people, it looks like they really do take care of their people, especially if there's a bunch of other positive comments. So again, negative reviews are not always a bad thing. They can actually help you, and they can make you seem more authentic. So here's your hack. You're going to go to google.com/alerts, because most of the time when I'm talking about things like this, this is the one thing that people are not doing because they just don't think about it, or they weren't aware that it was a free service. So you go to google.com/alerts and set up Google Alerts for your name, for your brand name, for your company's name, for the different products that maybe you offer that are unique to you. You wouldn't want to do something like Adidas shoes because it's pop up all the time, but you can do something that product names that are unique to you. Again, this is for reputation management. So you set up these different alerts. You can have it ping you once a day so that you understand, oh, somebody just did this on, this particular site, or posted a blog post that ripped apart my particular brand. Go there, you can chat with them, leave comments, find out what's going on, and make your decision as far as how you want to respond. So that's pretty much it. If, of course, you want some more information on this or any other topic that we cover, including WordPress and online marketing, analytics, conversions, all that fun stuff, you can visit us at SeriouslySimpleMarketing.com. And we hope, of course, you're watching this video on our blog itself. If you are, please engage with the comments below. Leave us some ideas if you've had some horror stories that you want to share on your own, or if you just have tips for others that you think would be great for managing online reputation. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching this particular video, and we will see you on the next one.